ladies and gentlemen, I was not born in my country. I was born in Goma in 1983, October 20th. And being a war child, because I was born during the times of the war, it was not an easy moment for me, because most times I would see, when I was actually 1 year and a half, when I would at least get some understanding, and that was in Zaire, now famously called Democratic Republic of I can't feel it. What's up? Of what? Oh my God, everyone is awake. Things were not easy in Congo. Things were not easy in the DRC. And actually, after the death of my father, he lost his life during the Obote II regime, when he had actually come back to do some work, because by then he was working in the Air Force. It was very, very terrible for me. But as a very young child, you're seeing everyone is crying, and at the age of 2, and I was asking my mom, I said, Mom, Kefen, Mama Sunu? Literally that's in Nubian language, and in English it would mean, Mom, what is going on? What is happening? But I was not told anything. It's actually after a while that I sat down, and then I had to remember that moment. That moment when things were very, very hard. That moment when Mom felt so alone. And I recall when she actually had to change her mind about the DRC, staying in DRC, because after Goma we moved on to Kinshasa, and then she was like, now we have to go to Nairobi. And before I knew it, I was in Nairobi. Yeah. And that's where I started my earliest education. That is early learning school, kindergarten, and later on where I finished my primary school. But in my times at school, life was still not easy at school, because that was the moment, still mid-80s, 87, 88, 89, when there was still a lot of influx of refugees from Uganda, because by then our country here was very, very unstable. And the immigration officers, I remember at many moments, they would come to the school I was studying in, and they would check on our left hands, and I would ask myself, why are they doing this? But still as young children, you wouldn't get answers from your teachers, but they would still check and go away with some of the pupils. It was very terrible. But at one moment I picked the courage and I had to ask Mom. I said, Mom, this is what is happening in my school, but to be honest, for me, I'm very, very, it disturbs me. Why do they have to keep coming and checking on my left arm? Are they trying to check on, am I not strong enough? And she said, Abass, I would like to tell you something. It's very hard to tell you this, but the thing is, they were checking for your immunization mark. That is what they call chanjo right here. So this was actually a mark that made me Kenyan, and it made me safe. It made me stay in school. But then later on, when we left Nairobi, because by then I kept on telling Mom, you know what, I would like to come back to my country. Much as you keep saying it's not safe, but you never know, maybe we'll be okay. And why is it not safe anyway? And Mom would say, you know how hard sometimes it is to explain to a child about something very, very sensitive. 2008 was a breaking point, but the turning point actually came later on in 2013 when I released my first album. That is Story of My Life, Story ya Maisha. And in that album, basically, I was talking about my experiences that I went through in the different countries and the different lives and cities I was living in. And I really speak out my mind there with so much fire, as we say in my organization. But ladies and gentlemen, my life, my principles, the key principles, because you might be asking yourself, what has been making Ugly Emcee and now General Ugly Emcee not giving up? Because they say success is never ending and failure is not what? Is not final. So to me, failure was not final. So I failed so many times. And living in fear was something that I had at the beginning. But later on, I realized that I had to live in respect of what they knew about my bloodline, what they knew about my GD. One thing that has made me to be who I am is that I never ran away from myself. However much they would come and press and look for the refugees in the countries that we lived in, I still stayed who I am. I worked so hard to know who I am. Just like you where you're seated. I believe there are so many of us who are silent with who they are. With, it could be religion, it could be your sexuality, it could be your color, it could be anything. But please never run away from who you are. Just like what I did. But just walk. And slowly by slowly you'll walk to your destiny and own it. Because your destiny is in what? I can feel you people. More fire is in your hands. And you know, the second is, why should we work when we can play? Apparently I thought you had to work so hard to be who you want to be. Honestly speaking, the organization I'm leading today, I won't say it's my organization because soon I will leave and pass on to another life. And of course, Baby Lulu is around, some of the members around who will always push it. Because you can't own people's fire. But the thing is, you don't have to keep working. But the thing is, you just have to play around with it. I played around with my life in the safest way ever. And right now, as I speak before you, ladies and gentlemen, I've managed to achieve something. My life, 100% is artist. I live out of my creative works, out of what I do. And I'm glad it has really not only helped me, but also members from my community, from my organization. More fire. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, why should we hate when we can love? Why hate? What is actually killing not only our country, the Pearl of Africa today, not only Africa, even beyond and the rest of the other continents, it's lack of love. You know, they say hatred is easy and forgiveness is very hard, but ladies and gentlemen, it's good to forgive. It's good to forgive. And in most of my songs, actually, when I speak about it, I speak out my mind, and I speak it with so much fire, and I feel different. I feel blessed. I feel painted with so many colors. I'm not actually mosaic when I'm doing my things. I become collage of so many colors. I love the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, you can name it. So many colors. So that is basically me. So ladies and gentlemen, more fire. I can feel you, more fire. People on the top, more fire. Ladies and gentlemen, before I leave this podium, let me hope I've not been so dangerous than petroleum to all of you ladies and gentlemen tonight. But I've shared my fire with you. And I'm going to put it up all together with the story that actually was my turning point in 2013. It was actually in May, Tuesday, May 2013, right here on this very podium. My brother, are you awake? Please play it. It's called Story ya Maisha, Story of My Life. Hope you enjoy this song. So may you please put your hands up a little bit if you feel in hip hop. There's a ladies here. Just put your hands up like this. Yeah, like you don't care. And this young man is taking so long, my brother. Please play Story ya Maisha. People get tired.
Sasa zingine unakaa chini unajiuliza life yako itakuwaje, haswa yako itakuwaje, lakini deep inside unajua lazima utawini one day, cause life is not a straight line, but life is what you make it. So move on, my brother, move on, my sister. Yeah, more fire, yes. Hii ni story ya maisha, 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 maisha. Where hii ni story ya maisha, 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 maisha. Where life ni noma manze, na ukileta mchezo we utakoma, we hutapona. Jishikirie taiti, usije ukaponyoka, ukaporomoka ama ukaumwa na nyoka. Kwani hustling ni moto kama kaa la moto, mtoto mdogo. Fungua macho yako, zingatia wena utafakari. Nenda darasani, kanisani, msikitini, na umuombe Mola akubariki upate riziki. Lakini jipange, jichunge nao, jiepushe nao madui, katonjo na mahaters. Na kama chako ni chako, never give up. Ishikiri taiti, never give up. Kwani bahati come only once in a lifetime. Haya basi tuliza moyo chini na uamini, kwani kesho utawini mzaya. Move on and never give up mzaya. Move on, move on twende. Move on, yeah, move on twende. Hini story ya maisha, 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 where hini story ya maisha, 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 where hini story ya maisha, 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 where hini story ya maisha, 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 where hini story ya maisha, 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 where hini story ya maisha, 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 maisha.